Hi everyone, we're going to learn linear inequalities. We're going to graph y is greater than equal to negative 3x plus 2 on the coordinate plane. So we have a coordinate plane here. So we're going to find the boundary line using y equals negative 3x plus 2. So negative 3 is the slope and positive 2 is the y-intercept. We're going to use rise over run. So we're going to go to this graph and then start at positive 2 on the y-intercept, and then we're going to do negative 3 over 1. So go down 1, 2, 3 over 1. So that's negative 3 over 1, and it's a negative slope, so you're going to go down 1, 2, 3 over 1. And then you're going to connect the dots, okay? So I'm just going to continue and just finish negative 3 over 1. Negative 3 over 1. So I want you to put the dots there and then just go up 1 to the left and go up 3. Just finish the other side. Okay, so I don't have enough here. So we're going to connect this dot and make a line. So I'm going to go ahead and connect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to graph inequality. So when we graph inequality, we actually shade. So let's write that. And I'm going to elaborate. I'm going to explain more on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down. We're going to, when we do inequality, we shade. Okay. So we're going to shade. What I mean by that is, if you look at this graph, we divided this coordinate plane to two sections. If this is called the boundary line is right here, boundary line. And if you look at this line, you have to go all the way top to the bottom. You have this section, which is the left side of the boundary, and you have to you have this section, which is the right side of the boundary. So this line divided this coordinate plane into two sections. So for inequality, we're going to shade this section or this section. You just have two choices. And you need to know which side to shade. So there are a couple of ways to do this, okay? So the couple of ways to do it is, first, we're going to make sure that this is in y equals mx plus b. So you need to make sure you do the line. So you first have to construct the boundary line. And then we do this test called 0, 0 test. So I'm going to ask you to write 0, 0 test. So what I mean by 0, 0 test is, what we're going to do is, we're going to put the dot on the origin right here. This is your 0, 0. Okay? So that is 0, 0 test. So x is 0, y is 0 there. That's called the origin, right? So what we're going to do is plug in 0 here and 0 here on the question. So y is greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 2. What we're going to do is we're going to plug in 0 into here, 0 into here. So when y is 0, x is also 0. And then I want you to substitute the x, 0 into x. And then if I solve this part, negative 3 times 0 plus 2, that is 2. And then 0 is not greater than or equal to 2, right? So when I plugged in 0, 0, the test was false. So the test can be false or true. If this side is false, right, false here, then any of this section is not the answer. If this side is false, then you're going to shade the other side. This means if I pick any points here and plug it into this inequality problem, it's going to be true. So let me show you and show you what I mean. So if I pick, let's say I pick this one, right? This point. This is the answer section. So your answer is shading. You just have to shade, okay? So after you do the boundary line, you shade. That's the answer for inequality. So right here, this point is positive 2, right? 2 and 2. So if I plug 2 and 2 into the problem, y is greater than negative 3x plus 2. So if I plug in 2 here and then 2 here, okay, Let's see if this is true or false. I'm going to copy the same sign. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. So is 2 greater than or equal to negative 4? Is that true? Yes. That's why I shade this section. This point is in the answer section, you know. So this is your answer section. Okay? And then what you're going to do is I'm going to pick a point from non-answer section. Let's say I pick like this one. This one is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 5 and 0. So if I plug it into that, into the inequality problem, let's say x is negative 5. So plug it in here. And then y is 0. Let's see if that's true. So 0 is greater than or equal to negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Positive 15 plus 2 is 17, right? I just solved this problem. So 0 is not greater than or equal to 17. So that's false. That's why we didn't shade this part. So any points here, if you plug it in, it's going to be false. Any points here where I just shaded, if I plug it in, it's going to be true. So your answer is shading. You just have to shade the section that is true. And how do you test that? You do 0, 0 test. So let's take a look at the steps that we just did. So we just did steps. First step is solve for y. Second step is draw the boundary line. Third step is just shade the half of the graph, left side or the right side of the boundary line. So make sure your equation is in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So if you want to use solid line when you have equal sign under, you want to use dashed line when you do not have equal sign. And greater than is you're going to shade up, less than you're going to shade down. So let's use this when we do the shading. So for number 1, I'm going to actually use the same 0, 0 test, but I'm also going to show you the shortcut. There's a shortcut way to do this. So what you're going to do first is draw 2x plus 3 using slope-intercept. So let's go ahead and do that. Put a dot on 3 on the y-intercept. And then we're going to do 2 over 1. Always slope in fraction. So 2 over 1 is right here. So let's do that. And then do the other side. Just go 2 over 1 going down. And then you can connect the dots. Once you connect the dots, you can actually do the 0, 0 test. So this is your 0, 0 test, which is the origin. And then you can just plug it in 0, 0. So this is your 0, 0 test. So if I plug in 0 into y and x, 0 is less than or equal to 2 times 0, 0 plus 3 is 3. So 0 is less than 3. That is true. So you're going to actually say this is part of the answer. So any other points in this same section is going to be true. So you can actually shade it in. So this side is your answer. Now there is actually a shortcut, easy shortcut that you can apply to do this. The shortcut is when you do this, after you draw 2x plus 3 on here, after you draw the boundary line, you just look at y and look at the sign and the y-intercept. Just look at these 3 things. Do not worry about the slope because you already did the slope. So y is less than or equal to, just look at the 3 and then go to the y-intercept that you drew. And then if the y is less than or equal to, then you're going to go less than because number goes down this way. So draw a wiggly line going down and that is going to be part of your answer. So you shade it. So let's try number 2 and we can try the shortcut again. So when you look at number 2, x plus 2y is less than 10. First of all, we're going to use dotted dashed line because there's no equal sign there, okay? And then second of all, we're going to change to y equals mx plus b format in order to draw. So that's the only way you can draw. So what we're going to do is minus 1 x on each side. And then let's say just divide into 2 sections. So this goes to this side. So 2y is negative x positive 10. But instead of equal sign, we're just going to use the less than sign, okay? And then divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2. So y is less than negative x over 2. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. As we know, if you have nothing, you have to put a 1 there, right? So the slope is negative 1 over 2. So let's draw that first. So we're going to start at y-intercept, which is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a dot there. And then we're going to do negative 1 over 2. So go down 1, 2 to the right. Go down 1, 2 to the right. Go down 1, 2 to the right. So keep doing the whole thing, because we want to go all the way through so we can divide the graph into 2 sections. And then the other side, what I ask you to do is just go back 2 and then 1 up. So from here to here is negative 1 over 2. Always have to go left to right. But we're just gonna go backwards diagonally, so we can actually divide the section. So this is your boundary line, and I'm not going to connect this because there's no equal sign, okay? And then we're gonna use the shortcut. So the shortcut is look at y, which is right here, look at the sign, which is less than, and just look at the 5, which is your y-intercept. And then just go here on 5 on y, and y is less than 5, right? So from here, we're gonna go less. Does y go less down this way or this way? So if you look at the y-axis, the less is this way, right? Y is less than 5 this way. So your answer is this section. This wiggly line is part of your answer. So this section, the bottom section, is your answer all the way here. So that's how you do the shortcut. So that's the answer. You just leave this part alone. So we'll do more practice as we go. So I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try number 3, and then you can check your answers. Pause the video and try it. So here are the answers. I looked at y and the sign and just the y-intercept, and then this is your y-intercept negative 3, so I went up and shade this side, and that was the part of the answer, so I used highlighter this time to shade. So this is the answer, and I used dashed line because there was no equal sign. Let's do number 4, graph on the coordinate plane. So this one is x is less than 3. So we're going to write VUX. VUX means vertical undefined x. So we're going to go to x and then draw a 3 on the dot on the 3, and then vertical line. So what we're going to do is draw a vertical line through 3. So this time I'm going to just use that because the inequality sign, when you don't have an equal sign, you use dash line. And how do you know when to use dash or not? Right here. It's on top of the notes on the front side. So refer to that, okay? And then here, we're going to shade x is less than 3. So you see how I highlighted here? Because x is going less this way. So what you're going to do is after that, you can use your pencil and just shade this section. So this section is not the answer. Let's go to 5 and do horizontal line this time. When something's y is greater than 3, you can use hoi again. Hoi means horizontal 0, y equals something. So you're going to go to 3 on y, and then you're going to draw a horizontal line that goes through the 3. So do a dot dashed line because the inequality sign does not have equal sign. And then y is greater than 3, so it goes up this way. So you're going to shade that section. So anything greater than 3 for y is the answer. Please pause the video and try number 6, 7, and 8, and then check when you're done. Here's the answer for number 6, and then answers for 7 and 8. You can pause the video and check your answers.